Welcome back to my channel. I've just finished working on the 2.25 diesel cylinder head, and all that's in the previous videos. So what I did say I was going to do next is start working on the rocker assembly, which is what you see right in front of you. So this is the one I pulled out of the block, out of the head I should say. And on inspection, without even having to pull it apart yet, I noticed that some of the faces here are quite worn. So for example here, you can see the indent here. That one's probably the worst one out of the lot. The others are kind of half okay. But there is like 1, 2, 3 and 4 that I would prefer to replace. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my spare motor. I'm going to pull the rocker off that one and see whether or not I can make use of any of these rocker arms to replace the ones that I have. Obviously what I'll be doing is keeping the adjuster where it meets with the push rod, but I'll be trying to see if I can replace that. So let's go and have a look at what my spare motor has to offer. Here she is in all her glory. This is the one that's got the blown block in it. Conrod number 1 is completely missing anyway. And I've just taken the securing nuts off there, so let's just kind of pull this open. I haven't seen what's underneath here, hence why it's almost like this has been glued in or something. Here we go. Yeah, I think someone's used Sikaflex or something on that. Yep, they have. Right, you can see here that I've now got the rocker shaft assembly from the blown diesel motor. Just a note that you can't interchange the petrol rockers with the diesel. So anyway, having a comparison between the two, and all the surfaces, can you believe it, from the blown motor are actually in better condition than the original one. So what I'm thinking of doing is pulling this apart and inspecting all the assemblies, the shaft and so on, for wear. And if it's healthy enough for me to use, then what I'll do is I'll just change over the adjuster assemblies. I'm talking about these things here on all of them to match to the ones that I've got on here, because that way I'm still retaining the same contact point with the push rods. So I've pulled the end piece off of the shaft here, pull that out, and now trying to keep everything in the same order. That's all I'm doing, just putting it as a bit of a wedge to take away the pressure on the shaft. So these are the ones that I'm taking out of the original ones here. Just a matter of unscrewing them through like this. So I'll take a look here now, and I've got the good rocker assembly that came out of the blown motor. Still can't believe that, including the shaft. Everything there is from the blown motor. The only difference is I've removed the adjusters from the current motor, and I've kept them in that same order. Okay, so now I'll be able to have a good complete unit. This shaft here has absolutely no wear at all. I can't even feel it. I tried to feel it with my fingers, and even though it looks a bit unsightly and it looks like it's got a lot of wear, it's actually incredibly good nick. So I don't think this rocker assembly was suffering from oil starvation at all, as opposed to this one. Although I haven't, as you can see, I haven't actually pulled this one apart entirely, because I figured this is good enough. Right, so what I'm going to do now is take this unit here and the adjusters and so on and give them a good high pressure wash. I'm finding that the high pressure hose is actually a good way to remove grit, especially from little areas, little holes and so on. So I'll be doing that, focusing on all those little areas. And yeah, and once I've got that, I'll be able to reassemble it and put it aside ready for installation. All nice and clean now, and I'm about to just reassemble it back on the shaft here. Just slightly lubricating it with WD. Obviously compressed air to get rid of all the moisture. Right, so got the main rocker assembly sorted, nice and clean. And what I've done here is I've just got an egg carton and numbered them 1 to 8. Took them outside and gave them a really good wash as well. So now what I'll do is I'll dry them up. So these adjusters were actually in very good condition. None of the threads were damaged. There was no nuts binding to them. They're straight. They're perfect. As opposed to the ones that I took out of this shaft, which were bent. The tops where you hold a flathead screwdriver with, these are great. The other ones were completely ruined, so had to junk them all. Okay, rightio, final product, final assembly. So everything's back in place and pretty much ready to reinstall. Happy with that. All of these adjusters just screwed in beautifully, no binding, nothing. It was just great, as to be expected. So I'm super happy with the results. And right, so next step now is to start on the bottom end. That's going to be very interesting. So wait for those videos. Alright, so as always, thanks for watching and catch you next time.